good afternoon, everyone. So, we are here for another episode of Real Talk with Jenny, episode 14. And today I'm just so excited because we have a very special guest. So, he's an ex AFL player. Um, I've met him sometime in 2014, and it's been like more than 6 years already. And it's just so nice to see him once again via this live streaming. So, he is also an advocate of mental health awareness. So, without further ado, I'm just so excited for you guys to meet him. Please welcome Corey McKernan.
How you going, Jen?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hold on, Corey. Yep.
There I am. I'm there.
Yay! How are you?
What's happening?
Yeah, so I know it was a short of notice.
No, that's all
I
right.
did ask you to come on board to be my guest this afternoon. So basically, real talk with Jenny. I started this um, just like first week of April, and how I started is because you've known me for many years, and you know what I've gone through in the past. And
Yeah.
with that, many people ask me questions, and I just feel that I'm not an expert. So I thought that maybe I can link uh, people, people in the specific areas, and they will be able to answer questions of these people. I mean, from
Yeah.
friends and friends of friends. So this is how I came up with this episode, and I know you're doing something the same. And basically, um, we just want to impact people. We just want to share our knowledge. We just wanted to share expertise wherein we will be able to help others.
Well, yeah, it sounds like I think around the same time that you've maybe started Real Talk it was probably also around the time that yeah, I did start I've been doing interviews and called it Fork in the Road. So it was basically maybe a little bit similar to what you're already saying. It's about bringing people's stories and journeys and finding out, I mean, what's made their journey. Because I think with everyone, it's you want to find out people's journeys, and I think what happens the more you dig into people's journeys, that you realise that, and especially it's relevant, I think, for times now,
Mhm.
is that everyone's journey isn't just like this plain, like a straight line. I think what it also proves at the moment is that, like in the current climate with COVID going on, and I think what it really proves is, yeah, I mean, if you can adapt and thrive during these times, you can pretty much wear that as a badge of honor that you can get through any tough times. And I think that was really the purpose, I know, behind mine was, yeah, to, I mean, talk to as many people as possible. Like, like the title says, I mean, fork in the road. I think everyone has those fork in the road type moments, and that's what it's really about, extracting that out. And if I think the other flow and effect too was also, yeah, if you can help as many people as possible as you can now, especially in the current climate, I mean, worldwide, if you can pick up little bits and bits of advice from everyone. And I think if everyone's got that growth mentality, that every single week, if I can find something that's going to make me better than the week before, or I can add another habit, or I can do something, well, it's only going to hold you in good stead. You want to have as many tools in your kit bag that you can come through and survive.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, with you are someone, you are a sports celebrity, as how I call it.
Mm.
So you can affect more lives. But I just wanted to share that, even common people can do the same. And you can just imagine, if many people will do the same thing, and how we can just touch lives and just share someone this experience, saying that, hey, you're not alone. Oh, I can do that as well. So I mean, it's something.
Well, the other thing that you touched on, so I think, yeah, what I did start also in reaction to what had been going on with the pandemic. I know you touched about it off the top that, yeah, I actually started a group called Walk With Me. And the reason why I started the walk was I knew the flow-on effect of, people losing their jobs and being under stress because of everything to do with the pandemic. And it was probably made me really angry and like pissed off that, we were, yes, we can react like we do to the pandemic, which is probably justified, but why can't we have that same reaction to mental health? And the mental health toll, unfortunately, during the pandemic is really going to go through the roof. I'd probably get really mad at the fact that, politicians out there, they can, we're talking about everything that you can't do, but I don't hear them telling you what you can do. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that really pisses me off is the messaging. I think we can actually, you actually need to get to people more and talk to them about their habits and their daily routines. And yes, we know everything you can't do because it's told to us ad nauseum about all the different things we can't do. But you know what I mean? The things that you actually have got control over, like your health and your fitness and your mental well-being, they're the things that they really should be driving home a hell of a lot better than what they're doing at the moment. And that's why the walk started, is because I felt, am I an expert in mental health? No, and I'm never going to be. I'm not going to get a PhD or anything like that. But the only thing I did know was that, what do I know? Well, it's my background of playing sport, and that's all I did know was about action and, okay, how can I help people in terms of, let's just go for a walk, and you get people on a Zoom call, and we learn all sorts of different things, like whether it's talking about meditation or whether it's talking about what sort of a list they're going to write for today or their favorite movies. It's really just to stimulate, like I said before, I think if you can stimulate that mindset, and you've got a real growth mindset towards it, I think that's the one thing it's taught me, that you can practically get through anything. If you come up with a plan and work your ass off, you can pretty much make anything happen. And that's what you really want people to understand at the moment, that, this is going to be hard, but it's like anything. If you come up with a plan, stick at it, you're going to have some bumps along the way, but I think, you can ultimately get through it.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned about sports, you are an icon in this industry.
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I wouldn't have to elaborate more because they can Google you and they can see all your achievements over there. But tell us a little bit more about your sports journey and perhaps a few of the challenges you've gone through that that got you this skill that you are using at the moment that we can share with everyone.
I was only mentioning on the walk the other day, I think everyone can find like little examples that, you can come back and revert back to those things that can help you out. And the one that was really funny for me, that I think really helped me in the end perform under pressure, was weirdly enough was my year 12 geography exam of all things. I'm actually looking at it right now because hang on 2 seconds.
Okay.
So I was talking to the guys on Friday and I was showing them through the office, and I had all these like different things about things that over the journey, when you look back on them, and they're just good anchors to show you how you've performed under pressure or you've done something really cool. My one, believe it or not, was my year 12. Where's the camera? It was like my year 12 geography exam. Now, for my friends out there that are actually watching this on Facebook, there would have been, we had a class, our geography class. If we're going to pick the perfect classroom of village idiots, this was it. Like, you had all the naughty people in one class at the one time. So you can imagine what the class was like. You got no work done, but I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. But
Okay.
going into the end of year 12, I had to pass that exam to pass year 12. So then what happened, we did a practice exam, and in the practice, I don't think anyone in the class got better than like 40 or 45%. Well, we did a practice and basically proved to everyone that, I mean, for a lot of people, they just gave up. And you know what? And the reason why I tell this long-winded story is that because I knew I had to pass, I then, again, gets back to your work ethic and not giving up. So I basically then studied my ass off for this year 12 exam. And I knew, it's funny, I could probably look back in the exam, but I knew even now I cannot recite the whole exam, but it was on Longshore Drift somewhere on the Gold Coast. And so it was interesting going into the exam. We walked into the exam room and all my other friends got in there. It was a 3-hour exam, and they all got in there and put their head. There was probably 5 to 10 of them got in there and put their heads down on the desk and went to sleep.
Okay.
That was the last that I had a little glance. I had a little glance. I reckon for 3 hours straight, I did not stop writing. And again, it's a great lesson in, okay, I made my mind up, I had a goal, but at least I was going to give it my absolute best shot. And then, so funnily enough, went for 3 hours, did the exam, came out. Like I wrote something like 8 pages or whatever. I mean, it was like I just didn't stop. So the funny thing is I get my exam results back, and then I think I got something like 60 or 65%, which still didn't set the world on fire. But when it had come from that situation of, I could have given up. I could have got in there and just put my head down on the desk, and like a few of my classmates, they may have thought it was a bit funny, but all it just proved to me is that, and the reason why I keep that was probably one of the first situations, and believe it or not, I reckon that helped me play well in big grand finals and bigger events, because what I knew, what it taught me is that, yes, it was a high pressure situation, but I knew that if I absolutely worked my ass off, even though the hopes may be very thin, but at least I knew I was going to give myself the best shot of performing. And that's what I made mention of before. It actually then really gave me, going into bigger, like I mentioned before, like the AFL Grand Final, when you got 100,000 people at the MCG, well, those events I probably then enjoyed a hell of a lot more, because, it was great advice from Dennis Pagan about how we should treat finals. But again, I bring it back to even something like that I think for those people out there, if you can find little examples, and they may be silly examples, like people think, like my year 12 geography exam, they go, why the bloody hell would you keep that? Well, it just reminds you of something that you've performed under pressure, and you can come back to it. And I think there's a lot of people out there at the moment, I think if you sat down and you had a piece of paper and you could think back of anything that you've done in your life, and you'll probably find you'll have 5 or 6 stories. Those 5 or 6 stories, try and find something that reminds you, so you can constantly come back to those, because they're the things that will remind you when the going gets tough, that you'll be able to get through.
That's true. And I've seen it, and I've seen how you act, or how you work under pressure. Back in the days, years ago, and you're like, no phones. He's just focused on what he's doing.
Yeah, I know. But and you know what I'm talking about. There was good pressure, and there was bad pressure, and you know what I mean.
I know. And I just admire you for that. I know you have a big heart, and if you're under pressure, you can make things up. You can just be the best.
Look, and I think it's easier said than done, because I know there's situations at the moment that the amount of pressure that some people are under, like, I think there's nothing worse than probably financial pressure and things like that. But I think the biggest piece of advice you give to anyone, that I think, again, if you wrote a list down of people's opinions that you valued and your support network, just go and talk to people. Like, you just find by getting it off your chest, and getting it out of this stupid thing up here. You know what I mean? I think that's where you'll be surprised at the momentum you'll gather just by having a chat with a friend, or even like what we do, where you go for a walk. Just the amount of good things that then stem from that. It's amazing what just happens by taking one step.
Yeah. But before we move on, let's just greet a friend. I mean, a lot of people are watching right now. Hello to you guys. Tito Joey Aspiras, he said he's watching from Maple Grove, Minnesota, USA, and he's a big fan.
Oh, so where is he in America?
Yes, he's in the US.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. So everyone is watching, and they're just so excited to see you and learn from you today.
Well, I've actually got lots of, as you know, I've got lots of friends over in America at the moment, and yeah, look, it'd be incredibly tough for them. Like, I think all you can try and do is, and that's like I say to the people on the walks, and even if someone wants, even if they're in America, well, tomorrow morning, 7:00 Melbourne time is when we go for the walk, but that's afternoon time in America on a Sunday. So if someone wanted to join us, and if it helps in any way, I know it's pretty tough in America at the moment, and but all you can try and do is control what you've got control over. You can't the external environment, you can't control Donald Trump, you can't control the media. All you can do is write your own list and say, right, I actually have only got control over these things. The rest of it, like social media and news and things like that, you probably only need to check it really once a day if you really, you know what I mean, if you felt like the media and the constant looking at what happens with COVID, I think I just got to a point that I just watched the evening news because I just felt like they're not really telling me anything different. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty passionate about the fact that, yeah, the message out there to people, I'm not saying you cure COVID, but you'll give your best opportunity of not actually getting it by being as fit and as strong as you can. And the more you do that, the less chance, or you lessen the chances, hopefully, that, okay, yes, if you did get it, well, you're probably more of a chance to recover because you're giving yourself, you're as healthy as you can be.
Yeah. So you talk about writing down. So you're still doing this, right, Corey? You're journaling, all the things you want.
I made my own. So like in the end, I put all my pictures of hang on, where is it? Where's that camera?
Yeah, you can
So I put all the pictures of my eldest. That was in America last year when we. And by the way, if anyone's ever thinking about doing that walk up the Hollywood Hills, it's bloody hard. Oh. And there's Kirsten and I I think that's in the rice fields in Bali, and then the other one is Harper and Madison, I think, when we went to Bunnings to get a sausage and bread, and then the other one is Tiger Woods. But then look, as you mentioned, there's no particular art form to my journaling, or I don't know. I do highly recommend it because what I find at the start of the day, so when I first get up in the morning, really for me it starts the night before. And so what I'll do the night before, I'll make sure all my coffee and everything's ready to go. So when I come down, I get up pretty early. I'm up at about sort of 4:30, 4:45. I'll come down, my coffee's already ready to go. So I'm not trying to find spoons. I'm not trying to find cups. I'm not trying to, there's just little things like that if you're ever thinking about getting up in the morning, you want to lessen the chance that you're actually having to stop and think. You want to just do. But I always have a little quarter teaspoon of turmeric in my coffee. I don't know really what's in the turmeric, but I think I've been told there's a lot of antioxidants and it's good for you. Yeah, basically from that point of view, I've found since I've been having the turmeric that I just do not get sick. So if there's a health tip out there, I don't know what's in it. I've been meaning to research it further. So yeah, I'll have my coffee, then I'll jump in the pool. The pool's pretty ice cold at the moment. It definitely wakes me up. Mm-hmm. Then I'll come back inside. I'll do my meditation for about 20 minutes, and then then I do the journaling stuff where I don't. Again, is there any? I probably should have a lot more structure than what I do, but I just find by writing a bit, whether it's reminding myself of my plans or my thoughts of the day, I just find it's really good from that point of view. But then on the back of that, I'll then write out what an ideal day looks like that day. So once I've done all that stuff, I then say, right, what is the things that are aligned to my goals of where I want to go? What are the things that day that are actually, at least yes, there's things I know I need to do for other people, but I go, okay, what are the things I'm going to do that will take me towards where I want to be? So that I found that really, really successful by doing that, because in the end, you're trying to imagine of what your perfect day looks like. You know what I mean? It means then you're having a day that's not dictated by other people. It means that, yes, I'm going to I'll control my own environment. I know there's things that I've got to do for other people, but how am I going to, at the end of the day, when I look back, have I been able to execute my ideal day? And that's where I found, does it always work? Well, no, it never probably does. But I reckon 85 to 90% of it is aligned to exactly where the plan starts out at very early in the morning.
Great. Let's talk about business. What was your journey in business life? I know we met in 2014, and that's with CM Ultimate Events. Was that the first business venture you had, or
no? The first one that I did was when I had the Leveson in North Melbourne. I had a pub in North Melbourne. That one was it was just a brilliant thing. But again, that had a fork in the road moment too. So I bought the Leveson, I think in the last year when I was still playing football. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I bought the Leveson for, I think, $85,000. But if you said what I would have to do to get that place up and running, you would probably never go and do it. But especially, where I did a complete renovation. What the hell did I know about renovating pubs or anything like that? But we actually, we did a really good job. But look, where the Leveson really worked, you had this vision. I know early days, and you talk about having some vision is better than nothing at all, because at least I had a vision with the Leveson that I wanted to make it the best multi-purpose venue in Melbourne. Whether it achieved that, I don't know, but at least then, when you say multi-purpose, well, we know that we're good at major events. You had great food. You're able to do functions. So you were in that multi-purpose space. And look, where I think the stars were aligned, when I have the vision and the ideas, well, the other bit that was probably a game changer, that there were two things that happened. I had a meeting in the courtyard about 12 months in, and things were looking like pretty grim after the first 12 months. I think someone had stolen 30 or 40 grand, which wasn't a pleasant experience. But I remember my accountant, where they were actually talking to me saying, it's nearly getting to the point you probably should, maybe get rid of it because it's not going that well. But again, if you're the one who believes, I was the one who believed that, no, this will actually work. And so it was a combination of that, I believed it was going to work. But then the other game changer as well, it was sort of like the stars aligned that I had my partner who I wanted to come in at the very start when we started the pub was Johnny Fox. And Johnny Fox has still got the Leveson now. And I think we were, and I hope he does see this, but we were, I think, a really good match made in heaven, because the way that, I had the ideas and that sort of part of the business. And Johnny Fox is just such a great person from a hospitality point of view. And anyone that goes there and anyone that hasn't been there, I recommend that you do go there once it does open up again, because they're going to need that support. But, we really, in that dynamic, it was great. Look, I think I had the Leveson for over 10 years. So it really did provide a very big grounding in being multifaceted and planning, especially in hospitality. Probably the one story that sticks out was the day of the 2004 grand final. And again, you talk about a mentality about always finding a way. We had at the Leveson, I think it was Brisbane Lions were playing Port Adelaide. And as the siren, they were about to bounce the ball, there would have been 600 people in the venue. And as they bounced the ball, the power went out. Like we lost power. So that was and probably is for the Leveson. That's always their biggest day of the year. It is a brilliant grand final day at the Leveson. And we lost power as they bounced the ball. And then I don't even know why. I just went into mode, I've got to fix the power. Like I wasn't worried about the people. I wasn't worried about anything else. I just went, I've got to fix this. I've got to find a way to fix it. So whilst I think they were getting onto electricians, I'm going, okay, that's going to be too late. It's grand final day. We need to just fix it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just then ran upstairs, and in one of the spare rooms upstairs, I just started running around. I go, right, I just thought, I've got to try and fix this. Because and as luck would have it, I ran into one of the spare rooms up there. And when we'd renovated the pub, they'd left behind, there were probably 4 or 5 power cords. Mm-hmm. And what had happened is that the front bar still had power, but all the back where there was probably 200-300 people, the power was out.
So then the half of it has power and the half.
Yeah, so half had power, and then the other half didn't. So what I did, there were some power cords upstairs, and as luck would have it, there were about 4 or 5 of these really long power cords. Okay. So then I remember running down. I felt like I was a fireman on September 11. I ran down with all these power cords over my shoulder, got all the cords from the front bar all the way to the back bar, and I've never been so happy in my life that when I see, the little red light on your TV that shows there's power, and just went, yes. And then, it was a disaster averted, because that, on your biggest day of the year, you could easily lose, 300-400 people really quickly. But, I think it's also, I think sometimes in those situations, I try not to panic. You've just got to go, no, I've got to find a way. It doesn't serve a purpose to actually go, what am I going to do? I've actually just got to fix the bloody problem.
So you know what you want to do. You disregard the other problems, and you're just looking at, I need power, I need this fixed. I can just imagine you with a cape and you're like, boop, just plugging that extension cord.
It was quite interesting having to go and do it, because I think I'd already been drinking beer for 2-3 hours, so it was actually really interesting running up there when I probably wasn't at my sharpest, but it's amazing how quickly you sober up with those situations. When people say where something happens or an accident happens and everyone says, oh, it was amazing how quickly I sobered up. Yeah, well, I did sober up really quickly and find a solution.
That's good. I mean, that's an interesting story. I haven't heard of that from since the last time we met. Okay, so after that, so I said that was an interesting story.
Yeah, well, look, I was, obviously then, in that time as well, where I was doing the tours to the Masters and the Super Bowl, and obviously the other one, and the other one started, I think we first did a grand final lunch at the Leveson, and we probably did, I don't know, it might have been 90 or 100 people was the first year that I did it. And then I think only maybe 2-3 years ago, I think I got the numbers up to maybe 1,000 people. So it had grown from having a lunch at the Leveson all the way up to, having a large scale lunch. But the numbers were no real, running it's no real, I don't find there was that much of a difference. Like it was still the same sort of process, but it was just a bigger process. And, it was like I suppose for me, obviously now we're living up on the Sunshine Coast, and I probably just went through a process, that I was probably where I was at working in the events industry. And I don't know, I just found I wanted to work on things that I was actually more passionate about and more aligned to. My big one for me that really come to the fore was actually helping people. So they're the things I'm trying to do now. That's you talk about discovering your why. Like Simon Sinek's got a really powerful talk about, in finding your why. And for me, that was like a bit of a game changer for me when I watched that maybe 2 years ago, because then it really made me stop and think, well, what is really fulfilling, and what do I really want to do? And that's where, like, even with the walks, that's why I love the walks. Like the walks, I do not make any money out of, and probably never will. But when I'm getting messages from, it's just, well, you can't replace the feeling. Like, it's a great feeling. And even I saw the article that there was an article that the Herald Sun, I think it only just done.
On your post,
yeah, like the article there, I'm just glad that they're actually promoting it. Like, it was good to see an article, but yeah, when you're able to impact on people's lives in a tough time, like you said, and I'm glad it's come back to this, but like you said, yes, it's great that we hear from celebrities, and yes, it's great they might hear from me or other people that I know, but really the people that you find I'm learning day in, day out are the people actually doing the walks. They're the ones, without sounding silly, but they're the ones who are nearly like the heroes or providing the spark. And the good thing is, I think for the people that's actually doing it, it's with a lot of cases, it's either reminding them of habits that they've already done before, or if not, it's saying, it's getting them to try things. And look, the people that do it, like I said, it's pretty tough. For the bulk of the people come from Melbourne, are in Melbourne in Australia, and it's pretty cold in Melbourne in June, July, August. It's only like 3-4 degrees, which is pretty chilly. And look, it's fantastic. What I say to those guys, I say, look, once we get to November, December, you'll look back at those times in June, July, August, and it was tough. And they're the ones, they're like money in the bank. Like, they're the ones you look back as a badge of honor and say, you know what, I had a choice. I either could have stayed in bed and rolled over, or I'll get up, go for a walk, and I'll make stuff happen.
Now that you mentioned, you grew up in Melbourne, and it's been a long time you've been there, and now you moved to Queensland, right? That's a big change, right? From a very, very busy place to not so busy.
I know, but I think, what I've learned, Jen, that you're as busy as you want to be anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, just because Melbourne's busy, you could still be lazy. So I don't know. I think for those people out there that are ever thinking about it, and again, COVID is actually highlighting that I think the biggest thing was, for me, maybe the fear, and this would be a fear for a lot of people, is that, well, how am I going to adapt? What am I going to do? But the thing is, I think if you've got a strong work ethic and you've got a can-do attitude, you'll make anything work. So for those people, look, I never thought in my wildest dreams would I ever move out of Melbourne, but I could not recommend it enough from a lifestyle point of view. But I think that's the biggest lie with the whole thing of what you mentioned, Jen, was more around the fact that people have a perception that, it's not as busy and whatever. I'm as busy as I've ever been. I'm just working on the things I actually want to work on. But if you, like I mentioned before, if you want to be busy, you will be busy. It's pretty as simple as that. But I think the thing is too, that people can take a lot of solace out of that. Yeah, if you're ever thinking about doing it, just do it. You know what I mean? Because I know it's been absolutely fantastic for us, and I know I'd probably never go back now. Never say never, though, because I said I'd never move away either.
Yeah. All right. So it's just a matter of perspective. I mean, regardless of where you are, once you put your mindset on the things that you want to do, your goals.
Well, I think now people are going to be a lot more open to doing exactly what we've done anyway, because I think, COVID's made it realise, well, do I really want to be maybe living in a big city, or do I want to be busy 24/7? And is there another way? You know what I mean? And there are plenty of other ways. And I think sometimes when you got head down, bum up, and you don't ever lift your head up to see where you're actually going. And I couldn't recommend it enough from a like a life balance point of view. But like I mentioned, if you've got the work ethic there and you've got the drive, you'll adapt anywhere. And if you don't want to be busy, you know what? You won't be busy. So
Yeah. All right. So I know you've met whole thousands of people in the past um, in work and business and sports and everything. What are your thoughts with regards to toxic people? Some would say, oh, we need to remove toxic people in our lives. Or some would say, we just have to be patient. Toxic people, they will change after some time when they realize they have some mistakes that they're going through or challenges they're going through in their lives.
in regards to that, look, I think, I think the simplest answer is that, that if you have those toxic people, then they're never going to change. So like I mentioned before, the only thing that you've really got control over is you. And if it's not adding value, if it's cutting you down, I wouldn't, if benefit of hindsight, I wouldn't put up with it for as long as, as what people do put up with it. I think once if you are thinking that, oh, this may be not good for me, well, cut it out. Don't put up with it. Just, I think once you make that decision, that your whole life actually transforms, that you haven't got that negativity. Life's hard enough as it is without adding negativity to it.
Yeah, but sometimes we want to be more patient, and then think that things would work out somehow after.
Oh, look, I think, but I think there's a difference between, yes, there's patient and wanting to work at something, as opposed to if you come to a conclusion that something is pretty toxic or not adding value in your life, my biggest advice would be is cut it, and cut it really quick. But it's not easier said than done, is it?
I know. All right. With all the things you have learned, from that year 12 exam to this time, how are you imparting this to your wonderful kids?
I think the biggest one, like it was even things, and again, it's easier said than done trying to give people advice in the pandemic, but I just taking a step back, I'd sort of made up my mind that I wanted to make sure that what was it? There was that April, May, June. So it was like 90 days. I wanted to make sure at the end of that 90 days that I came out flying, like out of the other side, that I wanted to be as fit as I can, and wrote down everything I wanted to do. But then one of the things that I made sure was, and I think you might have even seen when I posted it, was I gave Harper the challenge about trying to read 50 books. And but the weird thing that happens, I threw the number out there, but here's what happened, and this is great for everyone out there. And I know there's a lot of people about homeschooling and whether their kids are going to school at the moment, but it was amazing. This just goes to prove, by having a goal, and then the kids, like Harper then ran with it, like because she could see it, and with every book she'd write it down. I thought that 50 books was going to, I gave her about, I think she had 2 months to do it. Well, she finished it in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So what, I know, but then, so what happened was that because she bought into it, she bought into it into a big way. She could visualize it. She could see it up on the wall. And then, mind you, it probably did help as well, the fact that Nan and Pa and everyone else had offered her, I think, $10 for doing it. So in the end, I think she made about 40 or 50 bucks. But to answer your question, what you asked about with the kids and what can you teach them, I think for everyone out there, again, it's getting resourceful during the time of COVID. I think so often you can dive into your electronic devices, but I think there's still activities that you can try and do, and that one for us was great. And I don't think I've got it. I know the end result was when she went back. The good one was when she went back to school, and then I put it up on the wall. I don't know whether you can see it, but that was her. Yeah, she got like Well, the flow and effect was that basically she got a recognition award like when she was at school, you know what I mean? And that may not have happened if we hadn't had the challenge about with the 50 books. So
That's great. Is Harper into sports as well?
yeah, she's very sporty, but it's like that she doesn't like committing. She doesn't like committing to going to she doesn't like committing going to like gymnastics and things like that. Though she's very, very athletic and can run, but I don't know. I try not to push them. If they want to do it, they do it. Yeah, I mean, it's look. In the end, I think for any kids out there, you want to try as many sports as you can. Look, the good thing is, I think having kids around any sport and being active, whatever sport it is, I don't care whether it's basketball, football, golf, whatever it is. I think it's just great for them anyway. Like to be around that sort of like sport and environment and teaching them good habits. It can only help them. So.
But Tia is doing basketball, is it?
Yeah, well, my eldest two that are in Melbourne, they were living in New York, and they came back. They came back to Australia on the 10th of March, and it was Zoe's birthday on the 20th of March. So, for those who can remember, back in March, I think we ended up shutting the borders maybe around it was around that sort of. It wasn't long after. I think it might have only been it was in between that 15th and 22nd. I think, where they actually then shut the borders down. But look, the girls had a good couple of, they were nearly there 2 years in New York, but I think they're very happy to be back in Melbourne. But I don't think they're happy that they've gone back into lockdown. So,
let's just greet a few people before we move on. Yeah. So, Sheila, hello, Miss Sheila. Joey, Mike, John, Junie, Russell, Bunny, Abigail, Cookie, Anna, Lottie, Barbara, Celia, Irish, Mina, hello, Bay, and Jen. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. If you do have any questions for Corey, please just type it in, and Corey will be happy to answer it. Perhaps Corey, you can invite some of our viewers to your Zoom call. Do you do it on a Monday, Tuesday, or which day?
Well, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Melbourne time. So you just have to work out whatever. It's probably a bit early if you're in your part of the world. It's probably for you, for where you are now. What is it? What's the time where you are now?
It's 1:45 my time.
Yeah, well, 5 a.m. might be a bit early for you.
Yeah, but for others in the U.S. and some parts of the world, maybe they can tune into that. Normally 7 a.m.
It's always 7 a.m. Melbourne time. So look, like I mentioned, if there are people in the United States, well, if you feel like taking a walk it'll be Sunday afternoon in America. So if they want to, I mean, I know sometimes it doesn't work out because of the time difference, but I've had some of my friends that have jumped on from America and where else. A good friend of mine, Sean Riley, that works at ESPN, he joined us the other week, and that was good. And look, like I said, everyone that comes on, we've had a lot of great people on there, but yeah, it's that whole mindset of just, like I said, if you felt like you were struggling a little bit or you're doing a little bit tough, just, you don't even have to turn your camera on. You can just come for a walk, and you might hear some good ideas, and yeah, hopefully you can learn something or get your day off to a good end or off to a great start if you're in Australia.
Yeah. The other day I was listening to, we hear all these things all the time. I mean, this time, because we know the issue, everybody's having anxiety, depression, and all that. And most of the people around us also are imparting and sharing their tips, their guidance. But sometimes we resonate with one person. So, guys, just feel free to listen to it. Maybe it will resonate to you, because we are like that now. We hear these things from someone, but we don't actually follow that. We hear things from another person, but by the way he delivers it, we thought, even if it's the same message, but you feel that you resonate with that person. So perhaps, you guys can just hop in the call and see whether, these things, what they're talking about, would actually resonate with you. Because the main thing, you can hear all these things, but at the end of the day, you have to do something about it.
Mm. Oh, look, like
Right.
I said, I think all you can try and do with everything that is going on, you can only control your own world and what happens and what you put into your own world. So, yeah, like even the people, like, unfortunately, in Melbourne that are going back into, when they're in lockdown, like I said, you get pretty disappointed that the messaging out there, they just tell people everything they can't do. So it's like, can't do this, can't do that, all these can'ts. So, well, tell me just talk more about and be more specific what we can do. You know what I mean? And yes, I can look after my health. I can, they're the things that they should actually be driving in those people. So for the people in Melbourne that hear this, who knows how long this actually lasts, but you want to work out soon a good way of actually not only don't have a mentality, I just want to get by, work out a plan to go, I want to come out better than what I was before.
Yeah, you're right with that. So, Corey, what do you think is the formula for success? From the way I hear it, there's hard work that you're mentioning. There's also focus and all that. But what's the percentage in that for you?
I don't think there's necessarily like one particular thing. I think it's just, if you add up, and as I mentioned, I think if you can add up as many good habits that you can find, but doing them consistently well over every day, that's probably the biggest, I think, secret to it, is whatever formula or the things that you find work for you, just repeat them all the time and do them to the best of your ability. And you'll find, you'll be ultra consistent in the way that you feel and probably even in the way that you perform as well.
Yeah. Question: when did you start journaling? I mean, is it something you've been doing when you were doing footy? Or is it
I think I only started doing it, which I'm actually looking up in the. I've actually kept them all, so it's actually going to be interesting. Like, they go back about 3 or 4 years, so there's going to be some real interesting stuff in there. But again, they would also be good to look at. Like, if you look, it has a, the way it would work would actually be from a positive and a negative in a way, like, or positive in a room for improvement. You could look back and go, what was I doing then that I was actually, what was it? What was I feeling? What was I saying? What was I doing? But on the flip side, if you wanted to see, okay, how was I feeling then and what wasn't I doing? That's where it's good in that regard as well. So I've actually kept them. I should, it probably is about time that I look back on them, and I think it's like anything. You look, beg your pardon?
4 years, right? 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to actually look back at them, but I don't know. I think it's good to look back at them and actually go, okay, what am I going to do to make it a better version moving forward? What are the things that have actually worked over that journey that I keep doing? And what are the things that I get rid of that are, okay, I want to refine, or how do I want to make this better? That would be, I think, a big part of the process to work out how am I going to create this so it's much better than it was before.
Now that you mentioned something like that, how would you describe the old Corey 10 years back and the new Corey today?
I think now, because it was work over the last probably 2 or 3 years, I think, like I mentioned, it's now I'm actually doing things that are aligned to what I actually am passionate and want to do. They're aligned without sounding wanky, but they're probably aligned to your values. You know what I mean? As I mentioned, I think the big one for me was about trying to help people. And like I mentioned, I know, I don't get the money from actually doing the walks, but I love doing them because they actually help people. And it probably, even when I think back, like when I had the most enjoyable times when I was actually doing events, it was probably like even when I went to the Masters, because I knew the joy. The money was okay, but the money had nothing to do with it. Like it was more the joy that you're actually providing. Like imagine other golfers that love Augusta and love the US Masters, even just seeing the reactions of when they come back from seeing the golf course for the first time. That, and then the other part, which I always loved about the Masters, was like even just our bus trips, like just a bus trip to go from where we stayed in Aiken and going to Augusta. They were my favourite parts. I mean, just to hear the banter and hear the good times and people will have. So to answer your question, the Corey that was 10 years ago to 10 years ago to now, I don't know. Now I'm a lot more comfortable. I'll know exactly what to say no to. I think there were too many things in the past. I'd say yes to everything and try and do everything and probably not succeed bloody well at doing any of them. But whereas now, I think I'd highly recommend that to anyone is if you can really drill down on what you're passionate and what you stand for, it also helps you make your decisions moving forward are so much easier to make. So it makes it really easy now for me to actually say no. That I'm not doing that. It's not aligned with where I want to go. So yeah. So the me of 10 years ago, yeah, was a vastly different one to what it is now. But again, it's changing and evolving. But I'd like to think those pillars of helping people and around that space are still going to stay the same.
Was there a particular experience or event that you regret, or perhaps that incident became a turning point for you to become a different person?
No, I think it was probably just a culmination. It was probably just really a combination of time. Yeah, there were maybe events along the way, but I think it was just maybe time and some of those things. And that's probably a common thing for everyone, that it's probably just you don't know how it gets to that point, but I think it would be just over time. And yeah, you'll have things that probably in the end it probably doesn't become like the straw that broke the camel's back a little bit. But no, I think in the end, no, I don't think it was any particular incident. But then, like I said, I mean, because I knew something wasn't right, so then it was starting that journey of going, okay, what is it? And then I just knew I had to go and look at as many things as possible. Like I said, that the Simon Sinek one I found fantastic because it talks about finding your why, and it really resonated with me in terms of how powerful it was.
Thank you, Corey. Okay, so Mina has a comment here. Corey, I like your baseball cap. Go Dodgers. Mina's in the US as well. So
Oh, cool.
she's in LA. So yeah, Mina, maybe you can watch one of the Corey's episode coming soon. You have one tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's Monday, so it's 7 a.m.
Well, yeah, tomorrow's Monday 7 a.m. I'm guessing if it's 7 a.m. Melbourne time, it might be early afternoon Los Angeles, I'd imagine. Maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd have to check.
Yeah, so guys, you can see already Corey's Facebook page. So the link will be up there, is it, Corey?
It will be. I'll be doing probably a post pretty shortly anyway about tomorrow's walk anyway. So it'll be up there. Yeah, it'll definitely be up there in the next few hours.
All right. Okay, guys, if you have any other questions, just type it in. And I know Corey will be preparing to pick up Kirsten in a while.
Yeah, I don't think she'll have a sense of humor about. She won't have a sense of humor about getting the train back from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast.
Okay. Give my regards to Kirsten and the kids. But perhaps, Corey, you have final words to our audience on dealing with this pandemic, and perhaps after this pandemic, to have more focus in in life and things like
The other thing, yeah, the other one that I really love is there's a guy in America called Jesse Itzler, and I do want to interview Jesse Itzler. But one of the things that I got off Jesse Itzler was he's really big on. He calls it, instead of like he calls it your life plan, like a life resume. So it flips conventional thinking on its head. And one thing that I have developed the last few years was creating, like, just, and again, I'm only suggesting this now because the current time is not going to stay like this forever. So it's a great exercise, I think, to do in the pandemic. Again, just getting the big bit of paper and saying, right, what are all the things or holidays I want to do, or trips I want to do with the kids, or I'm going to play golf, or all these different things. And you write down as many as you can. And then at least it gives you something to look forward to. You know what I mean? Not just being stuck in the constant negativity of the pandemic and all the can't. Excuse me. I just think it's a great exercise. I know that I thought I'd actually had a new one that I'd done. I'd sort of, I have sort of done a new one about, well, there were all these things about when the borders open up. I think I had going to Melbourne to see my girls, and the US Masters is going to be in November, which I won't be going to America, but then we're going to plan like a boys' week up on the Sunshine Coast. So at least, again, it was just all these different things. What did I have? It was just all these different things that I was trying to think that, okay, what are things that you can keep looking forward to? And I think it's like I mentioned, the pandemic is going to end one day, but you just want to make sure that when you're ready, that you're not then thinking like this once it ends. Start thinking like that now, and create like what Jesse Itzler does, create like a life resume, create all these things to go, right, instead of sitting back, and you probably did the same, like you've probably ended up starting your talk right in the middle of the pandemic, and you wouldn't have done
that.
that before.
I know, and I never imagined how people just said yes to me. I have guests from different parts of the world, from U.S., from Germany, Norway, and I was just think, is it the universe telling me you continue doing this? It's okay. I mean, there are people who want to share. There are people who want to share their experience. There are people who want to share their knowledge. So it's just amazing. I never thought that I'm on my 14th episode now, and I'm with you. You are here on this episode. It's just amazing. I haven't seen you. I mean, we haven't talked in a while, and I don't know what's going on with you. I know you are with a new company. Is it?
No, I've got a couple of different projects that I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, whether it's doing the Fork in the Road interviews, which I'm very lucky. I've had national. Hang on 2 seconds.
Is it Maddie? Hi, Maddie.
Yeah, no, coming right in the middle. Just what was I saying? Oh yeah, I've been really lucky that I've had support with that, because without their support, it wouldn't be able to happen. So yeah, doing the Fork in the Road interviews. What else? I've got a number of different sort of projects I'm working on, and then I don't even know. Look, who knows where the walks in the morning? It'd be great to even get some sponsorship or support with that. So at least, when we can get someone that can drive the social media and just, take it to another level.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thinking of something, a new business soon?
What's that? Sorry?
Are you thinking of a new business soon?
No, I think everything I've rattled off there, that'll be enough just to maximise those. I've got it, like I said, I've got enough on my plate at the moment. It's just really for the second half of the year, just about really consolidating those. And, it'd be great to see, everyone finally gets over COVID, and, the world can actually recover, not just Australia.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, with that, I think that's it. They don't have any questions anymore. Thank you so much, Corey. It's really great to see you once again and to hear all those words from you. I know our viewers enjoyed it, and I know that they learned a lot today.
No, that's all right. No problem whatsoever. So it is very good that you're doing, and it's very eerie that you did start it around the same time that I was doing mine. But it's again, I think that's advice for anyone out there at the moment. If you've been thinking about doing anything for a long time, well, just stop thinking and just do it.
Do
You
it.
know what I mean? Like rather than just don't die wondering, because if it's a great idea and then you'd forever kick yourself if someone else does it. So that's all I'd suggest is that the more just go ahead and do it, and don't wait for others to control your destiny. Like you control your own destiny. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Corey. With that, guys, please do follow Corey and his Walk with Corey Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. Melbourne time.
yeah,
And you do have Fork in the Road. When's that?
usually goes out every Friday. So last week, I think for those people that wouldn't know, I had Matthew Richardson that played football for Richmond here in Australia, and then this week I haven't worked out who I've got this week, so I've got some work to do.
I know. Anyway, give my hugs and kisses to the girls. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
You will do, and then I better get to the airport, because if I don't, I'll be in
I
trouble.
know. I know.
All right,
Take care.
no
Keep
worries. See
safe.
you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks, Corey. Thank you so much, guys. That was another episode of Real Talk with Jenny, our episode 14. So, just like what Corey said, if you have something in mind that you want to do now, I mean, wanted you've always wanted to do, just do it now, because you might regret not doing it, and if someone else do it, you might keep on hating yourself. Why didn't I do that? So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mina, Tito Joe, Jaja, Apple, um, Tita Udes, uh, Brian, Shirley, Buzz, Chanel, Lou, Jen, Barbara, and everyone. Thank you so much, guys. I'm just overwhelmed, and I'm just so grateful for all these weekend episodes, all of the guests that keeps on saying yes, and I hope that you learn each time. And if you have any topics in mind, just feel free to send me a message, and we'll do our very best to put that up on our next episode or the next coming episode. So have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning to all of you, to wherever part of the world you are, and God bless you. Another episode of Real Talk with Jenny soon next Sunday, and I'll see you around. Thank you.